Hello, everyone, and welcome to what you might call part two of the Life Update series. I made a video like this maybe 6 months ago, maybe actually a little bit longer than that, and people kind of seemed to enjoy it, and so I kind of figured I'd make another one of those after about a year of traveling. Some of my takeaways and some things that I've learned, which now you might think this is probably more well suited for a blog post or something written, but fuck that. I'm lazy. I don't really want to do that. Plus, I'm a spoken word guy. Everyone knows that. I transmit my ideas very well verbally. I mean, I'm not a bad writer. I just don't want to do it. So I'm not going to do it. So I'm making a video right now, improvised. Didn't plan this ahead. So if you see some cuts, it's just because I was rambling on really long and it got so boring that we just decided. First thing, I think, that I've kind of come to find, listen, listen, listen. You gotta listen. I've always felt that I was a decent, pretty good listener, but traveling around, meeting a ton of new people, it's so important to really just don't be thinking about the next thing you're going to say. When someone's talking, listen to what they're saying to you and react to that. Makes conversation better, if nothing else, okay? And this is like the most shallow reason. It makes you more likable, for sure. People like good listeners, and if you're a good listener, you're going to be more likable. But beyond that, it makes conversation better, and you're actually going to take away things. Talking to lots of different people all over the country, I've gained a lot from just not saying much. Listen to them. Let them talk. People love talking. I love talking. And if you listen to them, they'll go. They'll talk. So you can learn so much by really making an effort to listen and making an effort to be the person in the conversation who ends up speaking less, which is not in a conversation with Mike Zaccardo. That might not normally be the case. You might expect that I would do more of it. Really try to listen. So listening is key. Two is that if you can go somewhere. Now this is less applicable to everyone if you can't travel as much, but if you go somewhere and you know almost nobody, and within a little while, if you're not crying yourself to sleep, I think victory, really. It's like, if you don't feel desperately and crushingly alone after a little while, that's huge, that's great. It means you're putting yourself out there. I remember getting to New Orleans, for example, and I didn't know anyone. And the first few days I was there, I was like, what the hell? What am I doing? Why did I come here? I don't know anyone. I just left New York where I know everyone and it's easy and safe and just comfortable. I'm like, excuse my language, what the fuck am I doing here? What is this? I remember early on, I remember the moment where it was the most like, what's going on, is when I was finishing up a nice tall glass of Nola tap water. And I guess I was on some local website just trying to learn about the city, and I guess it was like a news site, whatever, and I see like a boil water advisory for my neighborhood, meaning the water treatment plant experienced a power outage briefly, and it caused the shit levels perhaps in the water to be higher. So no one's supposed to drink the water in my neighborhood, for the next 24, 48 hours. This is after a nice long gulp, very hot, very sweaty. I was thirsty all the time. I'm like, oh, this might as well happen. Great. So I'm drinking shit water. I don't know anyone. I see cockroaches everywhere. What the fuck am I doing? Like, what is going on? Fast forward a couple weeks. I would put myself out there every night, go try to meet people, be friendly, listen. And I started to feel like I can make it here. I can go somewhere and not know anyone to make it. So this is, I guess, what I learned is that just if you put yourself out there and you make an effort, you can make a life for yourself anywhere, kind of. If you just, people are friendly. And it doesn't feel like I'm making much of a point right now. Oh yeah, so it was cool. I wasn't crying myself to sleep that much after the first week. So that was very cool. So we have listen. Set a low bar for what constitutes making it somewhere else. Put yourself, I think what you should do is you got to put yourself into situations where you're forced to meet new people. So if you live in a city and you have all your friends, every once in a while, every weekend, maybe, don't hang out with your friends. And go to a different part of the city you never go to. Go to the kind of bar that you don't really go to, and have conversations with people. Because I feel like we live in an increasingly echo chamber. Like Facebook, all your friends have kind of similar views as you, and like we just go to the same places. You don't get exposed much to other views. So I think you can make the effort to do that. Traveling around does that easily for you, because you obviously are going places you're not from. If you're in a city, just go to another neighborhood or bar or type of thing, or a group of friends you don't hang out with much who are different from you, and listen. And just, it's important to, and one of two things will happen, both of which are valuable. One, it will affirm, and I mean, this is more for perhaps political beliefs or strong opinions. You will either be more, by actually hearing someone express their views, and not just like actually hearing someone talk about it, you may feel more strongly about what you believe in. Fine, that's great. At least you gave the other side a chance. Or you may have your mind start to be changed, or at least challenged, which will make you think about what you hold so true, because everyone else around you holds it as true. And then it makes it easy to just keep thinking that way. When you hear someone else articulately put something that you disagree with, because you're having a real conversation with them, you might change your mind, or at least challenge your own beliefs. Very important. So listen, and put yourself out there. Also, here's one I think I found. A lot of people, at least in college and high school for sure, would describe a key component of my persona as awkwardness, perhaps even if it's intentional. I've come to find that in actual real life, that awkwardness is one of the qualities that makes meeting new people or interactions very uncomfortable. Awkwardness is an inherently very uncomfortable trait for people. That's just undeniable. For the sake of comedy, fine, but if you're just awkward a lot, it makes things uncomfortable, hard to meet people. So, and it's about as easily said as it is done to not be awkward. To not be awkward is just to be, and I think this comes with age, because I'm starting to feel it more. It's just like, be cool with who you are. Put yourself out there, and in this sort of, this is who I am, like it, and that's great. Don't like it, oh well. Not everyone likes everyone. I feel like awkwardness comes from not being sure of who you are and like trying to sell yourself to every person you meet in like a way that I hope they like. You just go. You just be yourself. I'm a weird dude. Everyone, that's fine. And you gotta, when you accept that about yourself, people might enjoy, because I feel like, when I meet people now, I used to still be a friendly person, whatever, but like kind of awkward. Now I'm just like, no, I'm not gonna be awkward. I'm just gonna be the goofy, the nut that I am, and maybe it'll work out. And the last year kind of taught me that, for the most part, it will. That's going to work out. So, and this is becoming a little bit more personal, but you're still watching, so ostensibly you care a little bit. Just being a little cooler about who you are, and I think that this past year helped teach me that a little bit. Is that you just got to be more down with your quirks. You just got to be like, yeah, here I am, world. I bleed red like everybody else. Yeah. We're gonna fix this in post. So I'm not quite sure, and for the life update part, I'm not quite sure where I'm gonna end up. I've spent some of July in New York, and I felt as though I was re-energized. I left New York about a year ago. Wasn't sure. Missing my friends after I left, of course, but I wasn't totally feeling it. I was like, nah, maybe New York's not for me. I don't know. I think it was my attitude that was bad, and I feel like this past year is like giving me a little recharge. So I may in fact end up back in New York. We'll see. I'm gonna be spending the summer and doing some European stuff, and might go back to California, whatever. The point is, I think I have a new lease on New York life, which is very exciting to me. And if anyone is curious about if they want to talk, and I can elaborate on some of the points I made, but I can also listen if you want to tell me anything about yourself, or if you in your mid-20s have come to find any of the things that I found, even if it didn't take traveling around America to do it. If you just were a normal person and lived your life in a conventional way, but also became more thoughtful due to age. So if that happened, I'd love to talk to you about it. So great. I think this went really super well. Life update number 2, complete.